Acadiana. I'm Lindsay Folk, Director of Events.
And I'm Andre Bro, Vice President of Policy Initiatives and Governmental Affairs.
For those new to CivicCon Acadiana, this series was created to provide the community at large with the opportunity to hear from a range of experts across various civic-focused topics with the intention to spark informed conversations within Acadiana. As many of our 1A members may be aware, One Acadiana recently embarked on a leadership exchange trip to Grand Rapids, Michigan in September. Leadership Exchange is a program that allows regional business and civic leaders to travel as a delegation to a scouted city known for its successes in areas that are important to Acadiana, such as regional economic development, workforce development, infrastructure investment, and urban revitalization.
Organizations across Grand Rapids graciously hosted 71 of us over 3 days, sharing valuable insights and best practices that have made their community successful. So why Grand Rapids? With the city population of 197,000, Grand Rapids had been the only metro area in Michigan that was growing in population, thanks to major investments in downtown development, a booming health science district, a focus on growing jobs in the tech sector, and programming to enhance quality of life. But one organization stood out as the anchor for why Grand Rapids was selected as the destination of our 2024 trip, and that organization was Grand Action. We are offering this virtual CivicCon today to share the Grand Action story with a wider audience.
Before we get started, we'd like to take a moment for a brief word from our sponsor, Al Patin with Auctioneer Lafayette General.
Good afternoon. My name is Al Patin. I am representing Auctioneer Lafayette General, and we are excited and proud to be the sponsors of this virtual CivicCon event. You're going to be hearing from Ms. Kara Wood and Carol Van Andel with Grand Action out in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And I'm excited for our community to hear some of the engagement that took place in creating Grand Action and some of the things that we've brought forth for you to experience. And it's an exciting time for us as our 5th leadership exchange trip. This one was pretty exciting for me because it really focused on catalytic projects, the importance of public-private partnership, and why that's important for a cornerstone of investment in our community. It was an exciting event. I believe that you're going to get a lot out of both Kara and Carol, and we look forward to this learning opportunity.
Thank you, Al, and thank you again to Auctioneer Lafayette General for sponsoring today's event. As Al mentioned, joining us today is Grand Action 2.0 Executive Director, Kara Wood, and Grand Action Co-Chair and Philanthropist, Carol Van Andel. We'll learn a little more about each of them as we get into today's program.
Kara, we'll start with you. Your experience ranges from working with the City of Grand Rapids, serving 12 years as Director of Economic Development, before transitioning to managing community partnerships for Western Michigan University, and now serving as Executive Director of Grand Action 2.0. Can you tell us about what Grand Action 2.0 is? Talk us through the history of the organization and who is involved with it.
Thanks for the question, Andre. Grand Action is an outgrowth of the Grand Vision Committee that was a conglomerate of concerned, civic-minded business folks that had an interest in improving its community. There was a time when the President of the United States was from Grand Rapids, and we wanted to welcome him with a great parade through our downtown. And unfortunately, the environment wasn't conducive for that. And so as a result, the celebration took place at our airport, another great, important destination asset in our region. But unfortunately, our downtown wasn't prepared for a grand celebration of our own president. And so in 1991, after much work on the Grand Action Committee, Dick DeVos assembled more than 100 West Michigan community leaders and volunteers from the business, labor, civic, academic, sports sectors to explore the possibility of building an arena and expanding and renovating local facilities to support the growth of our great downtown. In the meantime, other private activity was occurring at that time. The renovation of the Amway Grand Plaza Hotel was the start of the resurgence of our downtown. And so these complementary civic facilities were needed to help support the growth of our region. And so in 1993, Grand Vision officially changed its name and organized Grand Action, which is a private not-for-profit organization that supports the work of the organization in ways of raising public philanthropy, planning, engaging public officials and other community partners, and putting these private-public partnerships together for development. So we have organized and been around for over 25 years now and completed a variety of different projects that have only continued to spur the growth of our region and beautified the downtown in ways that we can be very proud and our community can be proud because they are participating in the effort as well. And so currently the co-chairs of the not-for-profit organization are Dick DeVos, Carol Van Andel, and Tom Welch, all of whom have been successful business operators in their own right and lead an organization that now represents the community in ways it hadn't before. It involves private business folks, institutional organizations, education, and other nonprofit supporters, as well as community members that are civic-minded and committed to the mission of the organization.
Thank you, Kara. Carol, you have long been a fixture and a force of positive change in West Michigan. As co-chair of Grand Action 2.0, you have played a critical role in the development of major destination assets, including the Acrisure Amphitheater in downtown Grand Rapids, a 12,000-seat concert and event venue slated to be completed in 2026. So, Carol, we've learned from Kara about how the Grand Action movement began and the mission of Grand Action 2.0, and we've learned about how the leadership of the business community has helped initiate these projects and drive them forward. Why was it so important for the business community to lead on this?
Well, it's important to have so many pieces of the puzzle come together in order to be successful. And the business community is one of those pieces. We need them, we need their support because we all know our states, we want to be competitive. And our focus has been Grand Action 2.0's focus on the downtown area. And that's where a lot of our businesses are located. And that's where we work, we live, we play, we pray. And it's important that if we are successful downtown, our businesses are going to be successful. And that was definitely has been shown since our first project of the Andel Arena, which was a catalyst for many businesses downtown.
Well, and Carol, along with the business community, a big takeaway from our recent trip to Grand Rapids was that Grand Rapids does P3s so well, so public-private partnerships. So can you tell us a little bit about how collaborating with public sector leaders plays a role in achieving the goals that you have set as a Grand Action Committee?
It's very important to have your public entities support you. You need your city, you need your county, you need your state, because if they're not on board with you and we're not all rowing in the same direction, it's not going to be successful. And all our public and private entities that are helping and supporting us all thrive from this. This is good for the state. This is where, as I said, our state grows. People see us as a destination asset. People transfer here. They utilize everything that we have downtown. So it's good for everyone to be on board and be successful with it.
The major investments in the Grand Action projects would not have been possible without a return on investment. The public sector and the private sector would not have invested in them without an economic impact. So could you talk about that return on investment and that economic impact of the Grand Action 2.0 projects?
Sure. You know, I sometimes look at economic impact from a visual aspect. I'm a visual person, and I'll also get to the monetary impact. But since Grand Action, at the beginning, you heard from Kara, it started as Grand Vision, and our first project was the Andel Arena and then DeVos Place. And from that, we had so much growth. I see the hustle and the bustle of people downtown now. And that to me is a visual of the economic impact. Just a couple weeks ago, I went and saw Stevie Wonder at the Andel Arena. He was incredible. And then, like a couple weeks before that, I went to Broadway Theater and I saw Beetlejuice. You know, there is so much happening in our downtown. But with these projects, yes, comes along the economic impact. From the Acrisure Amphitheater, we are looking at an estimate of realized $807 million in net new economic impact and $306 million in earnings, 790 new jobs. So this is after 2 years of construction and 30 years of operations. Now with the soccer stadium, which are going to have big announcements coming up this month, the naming of the soccer stadium, Kent County will realize $388 million in net income, new economic impact, and $156 million in earnings, 465 new jobs. And again, this is after 2 years of construction and 30 years of operation. So the city, the county, the state needs to be on board because this is what we're bringing to the state of Michigan.
Thank you, Carol. Kara, a big focus of Grand Action's work, as well as a burning platform here in Acadiana, is downtown development and revitalization of the urban core of a region. To support this work in Grand Rapids, Kent County voters recently approved a lodging tax increase to pay for the two current Grand Action 2.0 projects we've learned about, the Acrisure Amphitheater and the soon-to-be-named soccer stadium. How do you keep making the case to the public in the county and the region that these investments should go in your downtown?
Well, Grand Action's mission is to identify downtown and adjacent neighborhood building and transformational capital-intensive projects where we help galvanize that public opinion and support, leverage public and private investments to formulate and implement the funding strategies necessary to secure the public funding for these projects that we're working on. And what I can say is that certainly the heart of any great region is its downtown. And so Grand Action's focus has been on that central core area, recognizing the importance of its success on the greater region. Grand Action is dedicated to building on Grand Rapids' momentum and creating a city without equal. We want to be the best and fight above our weight class in every way possible. And so as a result, our continued focus has been on those destination assets in our downtown that also then support the growth and well-being of small businesses around us, other large headquarters in and around our great city.
Well, thank you, Kara. And as we close out, Carol, we wanted to ask you, so looking ahead at the future and legacy of Grand Action 2.0, can you talk about how Grand Action 2.0 is being intentional around building the next generation of leaders?
Yeah, I think it's so important to get the next generation of leaders on board now. I had the great privilege of being mentored by two individuals, David Fry and John Canepa, who began Grand Vision with Dick DeVos. They are no longer with us. They both passed away. What a privilege for me. And it's that's what I want to do now, is mentor this next generation while I am still on this earth, because I want them to know, you know, what it takes to build a city, and who you have to work with, and how you collaborate with all these entities to make it successful, and how you have to think with the next generation about the future. Like, they are loving we're putting in an amphitheater and a soccer stadium. This next generation loves this. I do too. I love music. I love soccer. So I kind of put myself in that group. But down the road, they might have some different ideas of what might appeal to them. And one thing we also did is we put focus groups together and went out to certain communities and just said, what do you think? What would you like to see that, you know, your community would enjoy in the downtown? You have to think of all these things and be proactive and constantly rejuvenate and renovate your downtown for years to come. You cannot be selfish. You have to think about the next generation.
Well, thank you, Carol. We'd like to thank you and Kara both for joining us today on this virtual CivicCon event.
To learn more about One Acadiana's trip to Grand Rapids and our lessons learned, you can view our top 10 takeaways report at oneacadiana.org/LX2024.
Thank you again to Auctioneer Lafayette General for sponsoring today's video. And for those of you that are tuning in, we encourage you to please share this video to those in your network. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you for the next CivicCon Acadiana.